rocket or space program. Everything is done, but then we have to wait for that D-Day.
Dragon is just one volume, so it's a very common shared experience between the crew members.
Every astronaut's dream to actually go and get their chance to train at the Gaganyaan Cosmonaut Training Center.
We have to dream together, walk together, think together, and we can achieve things.
Hello and welcome to this special presentation on NDTV, India's Cosmic Leap. All eyes set on Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, who is set to become the first Indian astronaut to fly to the International Space Station on a private mission, Axiom-4, aboard the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Scheduled for launch in early June, this mission is a major milestone in India's collaboration with NASA and Axiom Space, and a critical stepping stone for ISRO's ambitions Gaganyaan program. Speaking to NDTV's science editor Pallava, Bagla, ISRO Chairman Dr. Narayanan says the mission will bring invaluable experience and global exposure to India's astronaut corps.
I have with me Dr. Narayanan, the chairman of the Indian Space Research Organization. Dr. Narayanan, thanks a lot. How is the mission for Axiom-4, where Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is likely to go into space?
As all of you are aware, right now we are working on our Indian Gaganyaan program. And Indian Gaganyaan program, already we have selected 4 astronauts. They have undergone a set of training, both theoretical training and experimental training. Now we have got an opportunity to send one of the astronauts to ISS. And this will bring lot of expertise, knowledge, advantage, working with the other astronauts, carrying out a couple of experiments. This will bring lot of advantage.
As ISRO chairman, are you happy with the performance of Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, and will he make a good astronaut to the International Space Station? He has to learn many things which will come handy in Gaganyaan.
No, I am extremely happy. You know, our ISRO is a teamwork, and our Gaganyaan 3, I will put, he is doing extremely well. That is what is my understanding. And these are all the exceptional people with great devotion and single-minded devotion they are having. And he is doing extraordinarily well. That is what is my understanding.
That the SpaceX Falcon 9 Crew Dragon with astronaut Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore executed a great mission, does that give you confidence that the Axiom-4 mission with the same kind of rocket and same kind of crew module will also do well?
See, to be frank, I consider myself as a born optimist. And when we are working in this type of space program, you know, we always believe that this will be successful program. And surely, this is a first step. We have seen, and we are rather little more experienced. And I am having full confidence things will go well, because this experience also will help for the people to handle the situation, and it will be a very, very fantastic mission. And India, specifically our Gaganyaan program, will get benefit out of this mission, because one of the Gaganyaan Yatri is going, he understand physically, of course, lot of training is there, but then this is a hand-on experience, going with other astronauts and then getting the direct experience and trying to work with them as a teamwork. Because here teamwork is also important, and what is expected out of him, and it will bring vast knowledge, and that will be really helping for our Gaganyaan program.
How is the Gaganyaan program progressing? There are a series of tests which need to be done. When can you expect to have the first uncrewed flight, and when can we expect to have the first human flight?
Actually, for the Gaganyaan program, we have to develop major systems. One is human rating of the launch vehicle. When you talk about human rating of the launch vehicle, I want to just say in a layman language. What is human rating of launch vehicle? This is nothing but improving the reliability, enhancing the redundancy aspect wherever possible and required, and improving the margin with respect to structure, thermal, and all those aspects, so that the vehicle will be perfectly useful and it will accomplish its job. So, with respect to human rating, I will say 90% work is completed. All three
You are a
propulsion
rocket
stages,
man, you know very well.
all the three propulsion stages, every test is completed and we are ready. Now, another one is integrated vehicle health monitoring. This is a new development and we are in the final phase of development. Thereby, I can say with respect to rocket, the human rating aspect, 90 to 95% work is completed.
Now, as India prepares to send its second astronaut to space, we turn to someone who has lived the experience twice, European astronaut Thomas Pesquet, who has spent over a year on aboard the International Space Station. He shares what is it really like to live, work and return from space and what India's Gaganyaan yatris can expect. He spoke exclusively to NDTV science editor Pallava.
How is it like first going into space on a rocket?
Well, first going into space on a rocket is very impressive, obviously. It's a sensory experience. I would say just getting on the elevator to get on top of the rocket, you get an appreciation of the size of those machines. You only see them from a distance. But when you see them from up close, they're as tall as several different buildings, like put on top of one another. And then you get on top, you look down, you see the cars that brought you, they're very, very small. Then you step onto the rocket, it's very calm, very quiet. You do the last final checks, fuel the rockets, remove the crew access arm, and then you hear the countdown and you blast into space. Almost 9 minutes of acceleration, very dynamic, and then it stops. You're weightless, you're floating around the Earth. It becomes so smooth. It's like you're floating in a cloud like in your dreams.
Wonderful. Let's spend some time understanding how is life at the International Space Station. Indians have no experience about it. And let's start with the basics. What do you eat there?
No.
And how do you eat in weightlessness?
So the funny thing is life in weightlessness is not hugely complicated, but it's different. You have to relearn how to do simple things like sleeping, doing your hygiene, or eating. And eating, for instance, everything floats, right? Everything is in free fall, that's weightlessness. And so you cannot put anything on the table, like it would float again. You cannot put your spoon on the table, it would float away. So everything comes with Velcro. And sometimes we even put tape on the table so that it sticks. And you would be opening a can. All the food is in canned or in pouches or dehydrated foods. And then you prepare your food like you would a meal. You're asking your crew members what they feel like eating. Sometimes you prepare for them, sometimes they prepare for themselves. And then you have your own spoon. Eat your food. Always hold your packet, your pouch, or your can until it's over. And if you stick it, you have to make sure it sticks. And the beginners at the beginning, it's always fun to see them eat because it's hard to control. Things like rice. I mean, imagine rice. It goes everywhere. And then as they're trying to catch the bits of rice floating away, they send even more rice away. So sometimes there's a bit of a catastrophe. But that's how you learn. And then you get used to it. Sometimes we even have some special food for special occasions like Christmas, birthdays, national days, things like that.
And what do you do with your clothes? Do you change your clothes or do you wear the same clothes? What happens?
No, you keep your clothes for some amount of time, which is pre-calculated because of the supply that's needed accordingly. And then when you've been wearing it for this amount of time, you just throw it away. There's no way to wash it. It's actually more economical to fly some new clothing and keep them for as long as possible.
Any message for Indians as they prepare for an astronaut to go up? Because the public also needs to learn so many things that they are sending an Indian, one in 1.4 billion people to go up.
Yeah, I mean, same advice, like try to be part of it. I know that ISRO will open the door to, student challenges for science, or maybe a mission naming contest, or maybe drawing the patch of the mission. All those are opportunities to be part of the mission, because the point is that everybody kind of travels along, right? You can live your own adventure, but I think it's all of us, we like to make it a little bit bigger and to include others. If you want to be the ambassadors of a country, the ambassadors of Earth, the ambassadors of humankind, all those big lofty words, then you have to make sure that you're including other people. So try to be part of it, follow the mission, and Shooks is going to share the mission. I'm sure ISRO is going to share the mission, and and then apply to the selection. There's going to be a next selection. There's going to be a long line of Indian astronauts.
India has their own human space flight program,
Absolutely.
so there will be more astronauts from India flying on an Indian rocket to space.
And that's going to be exciting.
Are you excited about that?
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's going to be a huge national pride for India. Very few countries have been able to do this worldwide. So
only three have done that. So
It's-
fourth would be India to independent.
It's big, it's huge, and the day it happens, I know the whole world is going to be there cheering, and I know 1.4 billion Indians are going to be cheering very, very loud.
So you're happy after your space mission?
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm actually very happy. It's a ton of work. It's a lot that you invest. For me, 7 years for my first mission and 4 more years for my second mission. So it's a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifices. Sometimes you doubt. Sometimes you're like, wouldn't I be better off doing something else? Because it's always very uncertain. You never know. 7 years in advance, something can happen, right? And then things change. Technical problem, medical problem, anything could happen that prevents you from flying. So it's a big bet on the future. But when it works, then you're very happy.
As India's Gaganyaan mission gathers momentum, we speak to one of the country's first astronaut-designates. Group Captain Angad Pratap, a fighter and test pilot, shares his training journey and confidence in ISRO's system and his hopes for India's future in space.
India has an ambitious Gaganyaan program, and I have with me India's Gaganyatri designate or an astronaut designate, Angad Pratap, a fighter pilot, a test pilot of the best order. How's your training been for Gaganyaan?
Yeah, so for the Gaganyaan program, as all of us we know, the journey started back in January of 2020 when the 4 of us were selected for this prestigious program. It's been a long journey till now. It's been 5 years. We are trained for approximately 14 months in Russia, in which we are trained as a commander.
You were at the Yuri Gagarin Center.
Yes, at the Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center in Moscow. So we are trained as a commander in the Soyuz spacecraft, and we've had a little bit of, I would say, an abridged format of training on the Russian segment of the International Space Station as well. After those 14 months of training, we've come back to India. We've had another round of training in India at the Astronaut Training Facility in Bangalore, in which we've been trained on the human-rated launch vehicle, the basic theoretical subjects related to the basic curriculum of astronautics, as well as the Gaganyaan spacecraft, a portion of which is still remaining, which we will restart closer to the mission. So very close to the mission. There will be some penultimate training which will take place for the astronauts who would be assigned to fly on the first or the second mission, or the case as the case is. Yeah.
As you go along, it's a long time since you were made astronaut designates, and the flight may happen only in 2027. If all goes well, there are plenty of tests to be done. Are you keeping up with your training and test pilot skills, or have you had to lose some of that? Are you continuing with work as a fighter pilot?
Yeah, so it just so happens that first of all, space flight or the space flight, pure space flight experience for an astronaut, it does take a lot of time. We were just awarded our space wings last year, and the going rate globally, what I've seen on an average is an astronaut usually waits for approximately 5 to 6 years after he's awarded his wings.
8 years sometimes.
In fact, 7 to 8 years.
How much Pesky waited for almost 8 years?
Exactly. And if you were to see that in our case, one of us is flying next month, which is just 1 year of, within 1 year of having completed his formal training, which is actually very, very great. Anyone who wishes to get into the world of astronautics as an astronaut has to live with this fact that if you are going to live your life as an astronaut, let's say for a decade and a half, that's 15 years, you will spend most of those 15 years here on Earth and working for the cause of science. So it's not only about the space flight alone. There has to be, of course, a lot of patience, a lot of training, a lot of, character building which is involved in making an astronaut. And this thing doesn't happen overnight by just doing a segment of training for 1.5 years, 2 years. It does take time. And you should be willing to invest that kind of time into this. As a test pilot, as a fighter pilot, yes. Even now we have a short stint wherein we go back to the Air Force and we do our flying skill.
You go back
sort
to
of-
Aztec once in a while?
Yeah, we do, and we go back and we fly. And the nature of our engagement with ISRO is such that we regularly have technical meetings with designers and people who are involved in the hardware development for Gaganyaan. So the test piloting skills and the knowledge part gets brushed up there. So all in all, both the piloting as well as the test piloting part are being looked after as part of the training.
As India prepares to send its second astronaut, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, to space on the Axiom-4 mission, Israeli astronaut Captain Sibi, who flew on Axiom-1, shares his experience and how he's helping bring space closer to Indian students. Bagla spoke to him.
How was the ride on Falcon 9 Crew Dragon? And you were the first commercial crew. So was it difficult?
It was very, very exciting because we approached the tower, the launch tower, the launch pad. We see this rocket 75 meters up there.
Going higher and higher.
Yes, and the small spacecraft on top of it. Then we got into the elevator where all the Apollo teams, crews, and all the shuttle crews went up this launch pad 39A. Went up the elevator, got into the Dragon
To
spacecraft. Yes, and then we have 3 hours. 3 hours where all the preparation, mental and physical preparation are starting. It's relaxing time because there's not much to do, but you hear all the valves and the gas and the fuel tanks filling, and you understand that the rocket is waking up, is coming to life. And then they shut the hatch, and then a very calm person counts down, like 10, 9, and our excitement.
So can you
grows.
hear the countdown inside?
Oh yes, we count down, we shout with them, and we're all excited, and we're praying that nothing causes a cancel or a scrub, or we have to delay. So once a countdown happens, then we know that we're going. Go for launch, we launch, and the ride is much smoother than I expected. It's smooth. The G built up carefully, up to about 4G.
Yeah, I'm told 4G, correct.
Within 3 minutes, we're out of the atmosphere. 3 minutes. And then the rocket disconnects, returns to Earth, and the spacecraft continues to accelerate from 0 to 28,000 kilometers per hour within about 12, 13 minutes.
That's quite a ride.
It's quite a ride. It's beautiful. At first you see Earth from the window, getting smaller, going away, you see the coast of Florida, and then the darkness of space.
Did your mission by Axiom-1 lead to a certain awakening in Israel?
Yes, there was excitement. The government is speaking about sending an astronaut. I don't think they have succeeded to allocate the budget yet, but there is an intention. The Minister of Technology mentioned that we're planning to send a lady astronaut.
Wonderful.
For training, which can be very wonderful. I hope it happens. We will support it. We created a space forum. We created a campus for students in each university so they can go into learn about space and about the sector, and not only science students but also humanities, philosophers, authors, because if we want to excite people, we need poets in space.
Yes.
We need teachers in space because they can bring back and express the excitement much better than simple astronauts.
Well, as India prepares to send its second astronaut to space, NDTV spoke with a man who has already been there, Haza Al-Mansouri, the first Emirati astronaut. He shares what it's like to live in space, train with global agencies, and why he believes India's next space hero is ready to lift off.
How was it to live on the International Space Station?
I mean, like, you are floating, you know, you are watching Earth, you know, and like the speed of the station more than 28,000 kilometers per hour. So it is like you are completing one orbit in about 90 minutes. So you can see different places in just 90 minutes. You can see day and night every 45 minutes. And you
16 times a day you see a sunlight, a sunrise and sunset?
That's affirmative. Like, it's more than like 16 times. So you have sunrise, sunsets, and that's not our reference of time there. So we are working with London time for our working activities, everything, the experiment, the exercises, like physical exercise that we have to do every day just to lower the impact of being in space as after our return.
How did Dubai look like from space?
Dubai was amazing. You know, this is one of the things that I want to see as soon as I get on board the station. I want to see my country. I want to see my city. I want to see just how they look like from space. And they were amazing, especially at night with the light cities. And you can sometimes recognize places like the Palm Island.
Palm Island must be looking beautiful from space.
It is. You can recognize that, and all astronauts, they can see it and they can recognize it. And it is something that you want to share it with everyone. So I took a lot of pictures for different cities around the world.
How did India look like from space?
It was amazing. You know, the lights, you can see different places like New Delhi, Bombay, and I remember just looking at different places and trying to take pictures. So hopefully we'll share that with you guys.
We have one Earth, and there is life as we know only on Earth. And you had the rare experience to see Earth from space. Did you look for extraterrestrial life?
I tried to look outside for any like aliens, but nothing. So till now we are exploring space. We are exploring different galaxies to see if there is any proof of life. Nothing yet have been proven, but other than that, we are in that field going together. So if I know, everyone gonna know about it.
Maybe they saw you and you didn't see them. Did you think of that?
Maybe, yes.
Maybe that.
Yeah.
But how was it to look out from the cupola?
So cupola, it's looking at Earth, and it's really amazing view just to look at Earth, different cities, different places that I've been visiting during my training, during my whole life, and different memories that I captured in these places, and also you appreciate what you have in ground. Because on board the station, everything is being calculated, everything is at risk, because CO2 is scrubbed by equipment and machine on board the station. Oxygen being generated by different equipment and machine. If they get broke or something, you have to fix them, or you're gonna be in danger. So here on ground, you have everything for free. Oxygen is for free, water is for free. On board the station, we are recycling the water. So more than 90% of the water have been recycled, and we say coffee of today, coffee of tomorrow, because everything is being collected, even your human waste.
How does coffee of today taste like coffee of tomorrow?
This is the say that we are saying on board the station, because there's different machine that collecting everything from the liquids that we produce. So like urine, they collect that, we recycle it, and this machines now it's worked on board the station. They are using the same machines to help people where they have very water capabilities to recycle everything that they have. So it is it's a knowledge, it's a new thing that they created to help us to live on board the station and to provide water.
This rocket or space program, everything is done, but then we have to wait for that D-Day.
Dragon is just one volume, so it's a very common shared experience between the crew members.
Every astronaut's dream to actually go and get their chance to train at the Gaganyaan Cosmonaut Training Center.
We have to dream together, walk together, think together, and we can achieve things.